created by mad scientists for evil purposes, escaped to an island and learned how to be good. Both speak gibberish, act like dogs, and lick things off of the floor that they probably shouldn't. Honestly, these two are probably each other's best matchup, and I don't know why I haven't done it sooner, but better late than never, and it's never too late to figure out who would win. According to the Discord poll, which will hopefully get more votes next time, Stitch has this in the bag by 1 vote. Let's see whose predictions are correct in Versus Battle Cards. Let's begin with their abilities and special attacks, and it's no secret that Crash Bandicoot is going to win this category. If you're a video game character fighting a non-video game character, it's pretty rare that you'd actually lose here. Now don't get me wrong, Stitch definitely has a few tricks up his sleeves, mostly in his physical attributes and what he can do with his body. He can roll up into a ball, grow extra limbs, he was created to be indestructible, he's immune to plasma shots, and he can lift up to 3,000 times his own weight. They say size in the movie, but that makes no sense. Then he has advanced eyesight, with night vision, x-ray vision, and infrared vision, allowing him to see difficult to see objects or even invisible ones. According to Lilo, Stitch can also spit acid, but we never actually see this used. It could just be regular mucus and Lilo was just trying to scare Myrtle. But outside of some plasma blasters, that's about it when it comes to Stitch. Crash, on the other hand, has a lot more. He can slide, he can spin and ricochet enemies away, he can body slam so hard it creates shockwaves, he can use a tornado spin to glide long distances, he can throw all the Wumpa fruit he's collected or fire them out with a bazooka. And then there's his wide arsenal of masks, which can increase his abilities even further. First up is Lani Loli, which allows Crash to phase shift objects or himself in and out of different planes of existence. Then there's Akano, who can strengthen Crash's spin, allowing him to glide even further, shred through metal like it's paper, and deflect projectiles. Kapunawa allows Crash to slow down time for several seconds, and Ika Ika allows Crash to control his own gravity. And finally, there's Crash's main guardian mask, Aku Aku. He protects Crash from danger, can shoot lasers, be used like a surfboard, and even possess others. Now there is some misinformation that Aku Aku can only possess creatures with Mojo, a fictional life energy in the Crash Bandicoot universe similar to Chakra or Ki. But this is untrue. Several different masks throughout the series, including Aku Aku, have possessed others before the concept of Mojo was even introduced. And they can even do it to artificial beings like Crunch, or beings that don't have Mojo at all like Dr. Cortex. Speaking of possession though, Aku Aku can actually store a mutant or titan in a dimensional pocket that Crash can pull out and possess at any time. And I think that finally covers everything. Let's see if Stitch can win some other categories and catch up. But first, check out a couple of these YouTube predictions, how people think this fight is going to go. Now for speed, it's a lot trickier to determine. Crash was able to dodge bullets from Pinstripe's Tommy gun, plasma shots from Cortex's ray gun, he can battle the Electric who can call lightning from the sky, and he was able to outrace Nitrous Oxide who's able to pilot ships to different planets across the galaxy in short periods of time, and then outrace Velo who's even faster than that. Then, Crash is also able to scale to Dr. Neo Cortex who can dodge similar things, bullets, lasers, and electricity and lightning all at close range. It's difficult to pinpoint an exact number for this stat when it comes to Crash because who knows how far apart the planets where the Oxide traveled to. But relativistic to potentially speed of light seems like a pretty safe placement. When it comes to Stitch, he's actually pretty similar, and we can place a number on him. He was able to react while moving so fast it created a sonic boom, he can react to plasma shots, lightning and electrical attacks from Sparky, and he should scale to Jumba and Pleakley who are able to pilot a spaceship to Earth from space in just a day. We don't know where exactly they came from, but considering these alien creatures weren't too familiar with Earth, we can at least assume they were outside our solar system, a distance estimated to be 9 billion miles away from our sun. Combine that with the 92 million miles between the sun and the Earth, and we can assume that to travel that distance in a day, Jumba and Pleakley must have been piloting a ship at 56% the speed of light. So, Stitch and Crash are actually pretty equal here, I'd say a tie even. When it comes to power, Crash actually doesn't have much in terms of direct feats, aside from that 2 megaton crash landing to Earth, enough to destroy an entire city, but most of his strength comes from scaling to others. like his big brother Crunch for example, who Cortex describes as being able to crush mountains and demolish entire cities. Consistency. Now at first it seems like that whole crush mountains thing is just a statement, but Crunch's power source is actually the elementals, a bunch of masks responsible for all of Earth's natural disasters. Earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanic eruptions worth several megatons, tsunamis, and more. For Stitch, he survived crash landings to Earth, similar to Crash. He survived the house exploding, a gasoline explosion that sent him flying at supersonic speeds, and he even has an island-level feat. Well, actually that last one's a bit dubious. Let's discuss. So, Stitch's island-level feat involves an alien called Slushy, who had the potential to freeze the entire island if he wasn't stopped. But here's the problem. In this feat, Stitch doesn't actually scale to Slushy. Slushy's weather-controlling powers isn't something you can just scale to with physical force, because it's a different type of power. The feat actually comes from Stitch scaling to Splodyhead, who was able to disperse Slushy's storm. Except Slushy never succeeded in freezing the entire island. They stopped him in time. When Slushy is defeated, we can actually see that a lot of the island is still untouched. Only a few mountains were covered. So the feat isn't quite as strong as it seems. If we take it at face value, we'd also have to take some Crash Island level stuff at face value, like him fighting the Yuctopus, who could take all the magic from Wumpa Island, or the Evil Twins, who could supposedly reverse theirs and Crash's islands. There are little quirks and things that make those feats illegitimate too, but I'm just bringing them up to show that Stitch isn't alone here. Hey, it could be worse, like the time Cortex got sucked into a black hole and turned into a baby, or how Stitch threw a rock at a black hole and turned it into a portal. So, it appears that Crash and Stitch are pretty even in terms of strength too, even if you were to take their super wonky ones into account like the ones I just mentioned. Now before we get to the final category and the winner, take a look at these Discord predictions, and a video prediction from Gamerman Yost.
This is an easy Stitch win. I left in the comments. Just basically having every stat over Crash that you can think of. So yeah, thinking that Stitch is the winner, and it's clean. So, see ya.
Now this last category isn't meant to have a winner, it's just stuff that can't fit in any other category. Like how Stitch and Crash both can't swim. Stitch is just too dense to remain afloat, and Crash just doesn't know how unless he has proper scuba gear. But Stitch may have what it takes to steal this category anyways, just based on his intelligence. Now don't get me wrong, Crash is pretty smart too, despite what it may seem. He's able to solve some puzzles, and control just about any machine or vehicle or weapon just seconds after getting his hands on it. Meanwhile, Stitch can think and process things much faster than a supercomputer. He can even solve crossword puzzles in 7 seconds. But, unfortunately for Stitch, I don't think that advantage on its own is quite enough to shake my conclusion that the winner of this fight would be Crash Bandicoot. Crash and Stitch are pretty much completely tied in all physical categories. They have city to mountain levels of strength with potential island level stats, and with speed, they're both relativistic with potential for speed of light. However, it's Crash's insane arsenal that helps give him the win. He could break the speed tie with Kapunawa's time-slowing ability, break the strength tie with Akano's extra power, and out-hack Stitch with Lani Loli. No matter how smart Stitch is, he doesn't really have a counter to Aku Aku's possession, and he couldn't really touch Crash if he was phased into a different plane of existence. Stitch would put up a good fight, but those video game power-ups, man, they'll get ya. Anyways, thank you all for watching and predicting this episode. Be sure to leave more prediction comments down below or in my Discord server, or make video predictions. Because next time we're having a battle with the best bugs in the business, or in one of the fighters' case, buzzness. It's Flick the Ant versus Barry B. Benson. I told you we were gonna get weird. See you guys next time.